overlooked, or the feeling of not being enough. These silently dictate how she walks, speaks, and presents herself in the world. In doing so, she loses her greatest weapon, the energy of self-mastery. In contrast, a woman who has faced her inner darkness, no longer striving to be someone else, embodies her innate power most naturally. When she sits with her shadows and stops running from them, she is no longer their victim. She becomes their master. Picture an ancient tree in a vast field. It bears no vibrant flowers, emits no glow. Yet as you pass by, you pause because of its invisible gravity. Its canopy stretches wide, embracing the space like outstretched arms. Its trunk stands solemn, a witness to time. You can't help but feel its steadfast vitality, as if the earth and sky around it slow their breath. That is a presence with weight. Like a silent magnet, it draws every gaze toward it. A confident woman enters a room in the same way. No elaborate makeup, no flashy colors needed. Her upright posture, steady steps, and calm yet piercing gaze are the essence that shifts the room's energy. That is a presence no dress can create. Interestingly, studies on body language and attraction reveal that confident individuals emit a stable, powerful vibrational frequency. This makes them more noticeable, listened to, and remembered because of their invisible electromagnetic pull. From Jung's perspective, this woman has entered a crucial phase of individuation, the process of reclaiming her authentic self, shedding the societal masks imposed since childhood. Be sweet, be obedient, be loved to be worthy. Once she stops living to please others, she begins to shine as herself. And that light comes not from her face, but from her being. If you've ever felt like you must try hard not to fade into the background, pause. That feeling stems from an unconscious layer controlling you, your shadow. Listen to it. Write down the outdated beliefs holding you back. Face them in the light of awareness. Then, you're no longer the woman entering a room to be seen. You become the one who changes the room by stepping into it. Jung never taught us to become accomplished to be loved. He taught us to understand ourselves, make peace with ourselves, and the world will respond to that truth. So, how do you cultivate this confidence, an energy not derived from compliments, but from a self that no longer seeks approval? Here are practices you can start today, not to be perfect, but to return to your true self. First practice, the body remembers. Train your body to remember your worth. Instead of forcing positive thoughts or repeating affirmations like, "I'm beautiful, I'm strong," let your body become a testament to confidence. Every morning, stand before a mirror, without makeup, without judgment, and look into your own eyes for a few minutes. Then, walk around your home with a straight back, chin slightly raised, steps firm, and breath full. Do this not to look better, but to retrain your physical memory. I bow to no one. Second practice, and crucially important, stop speaking bad of yourself, even in a joke. Many women have a habit of self-deprecation, casually putting themselves down with remarks that seem harmless, but are, in reality, subtle cuts to their self-esteem. Every time you say, "I'm so clumsy," "My legs are too big," or "I'm so fat," even half-jokingly with friends or family, your unconscious registers and stores it, beginning to construct your identity based on what you repeatedly say. In other words, you're programming your belief in yourself by systematically negating yourself. When you habitually speak poorly of yourself, those around you start to believe it's true and may unconsciously echo those beliefs. "Yeah, you're right. you are fat. Worse, you drag the conversation's energy down to a level of retraction, leaving no room for confidence to grow. So how do you change this while remaining authentic? Each day, take a moment to listen to yourself in conversations, especially when you feel awkward, insecure, or tempted to make others laugh. When you catch yourself about to say something self-deprecating, pause, exhale, and rephrase it in a way that uplifts. Replace unconfident statements with neutral, then consciously positive ones. My body isn't perfect yet. I need time to learn this. This isn't toxic positivity. It's choosing words that align with the self you want to become, rather than reinforcing the self you wish to transcend, because words are seeds planted in the unconscious. Speak of yourself as you would of someone you cherish most. Number 2, habit 2, detachment. If confidence is the energy that makes a woman stand firm like an ancient tree amidst life's winds, detachment is the silent roots reaching deep into the earth. It's what keeps her from toppling, for a powerful presence cannot exist if she remains tethered, craving, or dependent on others' reactions to define her worth. Carl Jung said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." Nothing exposes the soul more starkly than loving or being loved. In relationships, all unhealed clear lake. If you lean forward, frantically scooping water with your hands, you disturb the surface and your reflection vanishes. But if you stand still, letting the water settle, your image appears clearly. Attraction works similarly. The more you try to grasp it, the more it slips away. But when you hold your inner core steady and let others approach, they don't just see you, they see a profound reflection of themselves in you. That's where true connection begins. Jung called this the paradox of the shadow. When you stop chasing light, the darkness reveals your true essence. Detachment is a courageous step, daring to leave the door open, not forcing anyone to stay, not clinging, and not shrinking in fear of abandonment. You trust that if someone resonates with your frequency, they'll find you without you chasing them. A woman once ruled by fear might think, if I don't take the lead, he'll forget me. But a woman who knows her worth smiles and thinks, if I must constantly act to keep someone, I'm nurturing an illusion, not a true bond. In that deliberate step back, she preserves both her value and her allure. If you've ever stood at that crossroads between yearning to be loved and the exhaustion of maintaining love at all costs, share your story with us. Don't hesitate to leave a comment, as your story might be a beacon for someone else lost in similar shadows. So, how do you truly embrace detachment, not as a cold facade, but as an anchored inner peace that needs no control? Here are practical practices to begin building the roots of emotional freedom. Practice 1. Say no without explanation. This is an act of reclaiming your energy's sovereignty. Say no, not out of rejection or anger, but because you know what nourishes you and what depletes you. Start by recognizing your reflex to over-explain. When you're about to say no, pause, take a deep breath, and respond more briefly than intended. Then, stay silent. Don't fill the silence. Begin with small things: invitations, favors, unspoken expectations. Each no is a step out of the role of people pleaser. Observe the guilt that arises, then let it pass. It will come, but not to control you, only to show you're choosing what aligns with you, even if it feels unfamiliar. Practice 2. Build an inner sanctuary. Carve out time each day just for you. It could be 15 minutes in the morning, sitting quietly with tea, no phone, no music, no rush. Or writing in a journal before bed, not about others, but to hear where your soul wandered that day. Or a walk alone, no earphones, no busyness, just feeling your existence without needing validation from the world. Psychologically, this pulls your energy back to your center. It's not just self-care in the common sense, but a deliberate re-establishment of energy boundaries between you and the world. This inner sanctuary is the blank space on the canvas of your soul. No words, no messages, but the space where what truly matters emerges. Number 3. Habit 3. Style as the expression of the soul. If detachment is the art of preserving oneself within connections, then style is how you present that self to the world without uttering a word. When a woman no longer lives to please others, she begins to wear what makes her feel at ease with herself. In that moment, she does not just clothing, but her soul steps into the open. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Style is not about choosing a dress or coordinating colors. It's about whether you dare to live true to the deepest essence within you. A woman who has journeyed through individuation doesn't dress to impress. She dresses to mark her spiritual territory. This is me. No pretense, no borrowing, no permission needed. Like dreams, where Jung believed the unconscious speaks to us through symbols, style is a non-verbal language of the soul. The dress you choose, the way you tie your hair, the scent you carry. All are vivid symbols, conveying an invisible message. Where are you on your journey of self-understanding? Jung believed each person carries a dominant archetype, and when you dress in alignment with that archetype, you no longer merely wear clothes, you become a living embodiment of it. If you carry the energy of the Queen, you'll gravitate toward minimalist elegance, clean lines, and substantial fabrics. If you're the wild woman, you'll resonate with raw wool, earthy tones, and materials that breathe with nature. If you're the sage, you might favor neutral hues and timeless pieces with depth over fleeting trends. Look at your wardrobe, not through the lens of fashion, but through the lens of psychology. How many items make you feel truly yourself, and how many were bought to fit others' eyes? If each piece is a word, then your style is the story you tell about yourself every day before you even open your mouth. If style is the second skin of the soul, you could borrow someone else's skin to hide, but it will always feel wrinkled, ill-fitting. Only when you dare to wear your true skin, rough, unfashionable, form, because it's not just physically comfortable, but resonates with your inner energy's frequency. When the world feels chaotic, when you're unsure of yourself, return to this uniform as an anchor. When your body feels safe, your soul breathes easier. Practice 2. Instead of shopping to fill a void, choose each item like a word in your autobiography. The next time you're about to buy a dress, a lipstick, or a pair of earrings, pause and ask, what does this item say about me? If the answer is, to make others see me as trendy, don't buy it. But if the answer is, I feel more myself wearing it, buy it. Style is a language, and each item you choose either clarifies your voice or drowns it in society's noise. Build your wardrobe like a personal library, where every piece has depth, history, and a reason for existing. Practice 3. Choose a scent as your soul's signature. Select a fragrance that others associate with you through emotion, even without seeing you. In psychology, the sense of smell is deeply tied to memory and emotion. A scent can transport us to childhood, an old summer, or the feeling of someone who once passed through our lives with a single breath. So why not choose a scent to become your emotional emblem. Pick a perfume that, when spritzed on your wrist, brings you back to the deepest part of yourself. It might be the warm spice of sandalwood, like damp earth after rain, or the bright burst of bergamot, like your spirit awakening each morning. Use it daily and consistently, not just for special occasions. Every time you prepare to step out into the world, let that scent precede you. One day, when you're not there and someone passes a familiar fragrance, they'll pause, and in that moment, you'll appear, not as an image, but as an ineffable, vivid emotion. Do these practices resonate with you? Share your thoughts and feedback. We're always listening and eager to know what in your style makes you feel most yourself. Your stories are living inspiration for this journey to continue. Number 4. Habit 4. Feminine energy. If style is the story your soul tells the world through visuals, then feminine energy is the silent melody woven into every gesture, glance, and pause, an intangible force that lingers unforgettable in others' minds. A woman with a distinct style commands attention, but a woman imbued with deep feminine energy makes others want to stay. Carl Jung once said, "The anima is the archetype of life itself." The anima, the feminine archetype within every human, is the embodiment of softness, receptivity, sacredness, and vibrant vitality. When a woman is disconnected from her anima, she may achieve success, sharpness, or independence, but something remains missing. Not a man, but the ability to radiate life-giving energy, the kind that not only sustains her, but nourishes the space around her through her mere presence. In a modern world that glorifies masculine traits, logic, control, speed, and efficiency, many women believe that to be recognized, they must be stronger, more rational, and more controlling until they become depleted. Not because they lack capability, but because they've betrayed their natural biological and spiritual rhythm. Feminine energy is not weakness. It is a powerful receptive force, like the ocean embracing every river, or the moon guiding the tides without a sound. A feminine woman doesn't need to argue to be heard. She doesn't need to compete for a place. She attracts, not through effort, but through letting go at the right moment. From a psychological perspective, feminine energy aligns with the parasympathetic state, the nervous system's mode of rest and restoration. It soothes, heals, and connects. A woman in this energy makes others feel safe, softened, and open. While masculine energy pushes outward to conquer, feminine energy pulls inward to attract. When a woman truly steps into this energy, she doesn't need to rush to lead. The world adjusts its pace to follow her. Imagine a lotus flower in a still lake. It doesn't move. It doesn't beckon. Yet dragonflies, sunlight, and breezes are drawn to it naturally. Because it doesn't try to be anything else. It blooms, and the world responds. A woman who follows our channel once shared, "She used to take charge in every relationship, planning outings, steering emotions, even teaching her partner how to love her. She thought proactivity was a strength. But after several dates, the pattern repeated. Her partners grew distant, indifferent, always withdrawing with the same excuse. 'I feel suffocated.' She realized she wasn't giving others a chance to show up, to give. By controlling to avoid hurt, she inadvertently stifled the natural drive of connection, voluntariness, anticipation, and the space for longing." Carl Jung said psychological growth is the reconciliation of opposites within, light and shadow, reason and emotion, masculine and feminine. A woman is only truly captivating when she doesn't reject her anima, but learns to live in harmony with it. No one is drawn to a perfectly functioning machine, but everyone is captivated by a vibrant human, full of contradictions, yet unified within themselves. So, how do you nurture feminine energy? First practice. Nurture your body as a living temple, not to meet a standard, but to return to yourself. Your body is the first and final physical expression of feminine energy. Yet instead of love, many women learn to judge their bodies. Each time you don't just hurt yourself, you close the door to your sacred feminine anima. Change this, not through force, but through loving rituals. Each morning, begin with a slow gesture. Remember, your worth isn't in productivity, but in the life you carry within you. Feminine energy is a current. The more you resist, the more it depletes. The more you nurture, the fuller it becomes. A woman who returns to this energy not only becomes magnetic, but also an invisible source of nourishment for everything she touches. Have you ever practiced any of these? Share a moment, however small, when you felt truly reconnected with yourself. Number 5. Habit 5. Evocative communication. When a woman reconnects with her feminine energy, gentle yet not weak, quiet yet vibrant, even the way she speaks, listens and leaves, pauses between words becomes a magnetic force that compels others to linger. In that presence, words cease to be mere tools and become a gateway to her soul. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." A true conversation is not just an exchange of information. It is a delicate touch of two inner worlds, where, if authentic and open enough, both individuals emerge changed. An alluring woman doesn't speak excessively. She speaks sparingly, but her words strike the precise emotional chord the other person hasn't yet named. Like two streams, one clear, one murky, quietly merging in a glass without a sound. She is the glass, simply present, holding space for the flow to be safe. She doesn't try to dominate the dialogue. She doesn't talk endlessly to fill the space. Instead, she offers that space to the other person, as if inviting them into a warm room where they don't need to perform or strive. And strangely, in that receptive silence, others begin to share more, delve deeper, and reveal truths they may not have shared with anyone else. From a psychological perspective, 80% of communication's allure lies in non-verbal energy. What captivates isn't the content of words, but the feeling the other person experiences in your presence. They feel heard, understood, and seen, not because you nod incessantly, but because your gaze lingers where it matters, your voice touches the right emotional layer, and you don't rush to fill silences with meaningless words. Imagine a conversation as a slow tango under soft golden light. If both partners vie for the lead, stepping forward simultaneously, the movement becomes chaotic, losing its grace. But if one gently steps back half a beat, making space for the other to advance, then tilts a shoulder, sways with the emotion, and keeps a touch of distance, a hint of silence, the dialogue becomes an enchanting dance. Every glance, every breath, every pause becomes a language, not of reason, but of the primal emotion humans have understood since before they learned to speak. From a social perspective, this is the skill of those with high emotional intelligence, EQ, particularly active empathy. But through Jung's lens, it's the expression of someone who has reached the self, the profound core, after reconciling the shadow and societal masks. They don't communicate to fill voids or seek constant validation. They communicate to connect, allowing others to see themselves reflected. So, how do you cultivate this evocative communication in daily life? Start by practicing listening without interrupting. In your next conversation, with family, friends, or colleagues, resist cutting in or adding your own opinions while they share. Instead of reacting immediately, pause for a beat. Look into their eyes. Listen to their pauses, to what's left unsaid. Sometimes, what people need isn't advice, but a safe space to hear their voice. When you're truly present, your presence becomes a mirror. They see themselves more clearly through you. Next, choose a moment each day to practice speaking more slowly. Whether replying to a message, ordering food, or talking on the phone, deliberately slow your pace, choose words carefully, and pause more between sentences. This not only helps you regain control of your emotional flow, but also makes the listener feel respected and connected. The slower you speak, the more weight your words carry. And that makes the difference. You're no longer just someone talking. You become someone others want to keep talking to. Evocative communication isn't about technique. It's about being ready to shed protective layers, to be present authentically, not to make others like you, but to receive them with depth and honesty. When you speak to connect, others listen with their hearts. And what they'll remember long after the conversation isn't what you said, but how you made them feel. Number 6, Habit 6, Freedom and Independence. In the end, words may connect two people, but only inner freedom and independence keep you from relying on others. A woman may converse like a cool stream, listen like a still lake, but if she remains emotionally dependent on others' approval, agreement, or judgment to define her worth, but to amplify her essence. Freedom doesn't come from escaping others. It comes from no longer binding yourself to old expectations. A free woman can be in a relationship without dissolving into it. She can be a mother without losing the woman within. She can work in a team without needing anyone to affirm her competence. She doesn't try to be special. It's her inner calm that makes her special without effort. So, you want to nurture this freedom and independence, do you? Start, however small, with a freedom fund, not just for security, but to send a clear inner message. I can walk away if it no longer fits. This could be a personal savings account, a side income, or a monthly sum set aside for something you want. Money isn't the root of freedom, but it's a tool that ensures you don't have to depend on anyone, allowing you to leave a job, relationship, or identity that no longer serves you. Next, make choices without seeking opinions. This may seem minor, but it's crucial for establishing autonomy. From simple decisions like choosing a meal you truly want, signing up for a class out of curiosity, or going somewhere alone, each self-made choice strengthens the bond with your inner voice. An independent woman isn't someone who needs no one. She knows what's right for her, even if no one agrees. Freedom and independence aren't destinations. They're a way of being. A woman who embodies this doesn't get swept into the world. She sets its rhythm. When she enters, people don't ask, "Who is she?" but think, "I don't want to leave her presence." That's the mark of a woman who lives fully for herself, making her irreplaceable. You don't need to become someone else. You only need to peel away the layers of dust life has placed upon you. With each layer removed, your essence shines through, not blinding, but steady, like the quiet glow beneath emotional bedrock. A light that doesn't just reveal you, but helps others see themselves more clearly in your presence. Carl Jung didn't teach us how to shine. He showed us the path to becoming ourselves. And on that path, no allure is more enduring than that of a soul reconciled with itself. If this video has made you see yourself from a new angle, if it's helped you realize there's something in you that needs no explanation or proof, don't leave. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications today to join us on this journey in future videos. to feel valuable. She doesn't enter a room hoping to be recognized. She enters, and everything subtly aligns to her presence. This is not the result of chance or luck. It is the fruit of a deep belief in oneself, an inner rootedness that Carl Jung often described as the core of the individuation process. In The Undiscovered Self, Jung wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." The more a woman matures, the more she understands that life isn't about pleasing the gaze of others. It's about awakening to her own essence. When she stops seeking external validation, she begins the journey of truly finding herself. Deep self-belief doesn't come from compliments, admiring glances, or digital likes. It is forged through doubt, failure, disorientation, and rising again, guided by intuition and personal resolve. True confidence doesn't need to be proven. It's not loud, not ornamental, and doesn't seek praise. A woman who truly believes in herself speaks a wordless language, a steady gaze, a grounded posture, a voice that doesn't tremble when speaking truth, even when that truth is unpopular. She has learned something profound. When you need the world to affirm your worth, you've handed over control of your life. Instead, she turns inward and makes peace with herself. Carl Jung called this shadow work. A woman who has truly faced her shadow, the imperfect parts, the wounds, the jealousy, the anger, the desires society deems unacceptable, is a woman who has embraced her full self. In Psychology and Religion, Jung wrote, "To confront a person with his shadow is to show him his own light. Only when a woman dares to face her hidden instincts can she step into a kind of confidence untouched by defense or pretense. She doesn't need to appear okay. She doesn't need to always be beautiful or right in anyone's eyes. She just needs to be honest with herself. And that is where true beauty begins." Imagine two women entering the same space. One is impeccably dressed, but her eyes avoid contact, her voice hesitates, and her posture seems to apologize for taking up space. The other may not be striking in appearance, but she meets your eyes, stands tall, and smiles just enough. Who would you notice? Psychological studies have shown that self-belief is the first and strongest factor in determining social attractiveness. In fact, a study from Webster University found that people with high self-confidence were rated as more physically attractive, even if they didn't meet conventional beauty standards. This is no surprise. We are not drawn to appearances. We are drawn to the energy behind them. A landmark Harvard study on the internal locus of control, the sense that one is the author of their own life, found that individuals with strong internal control tend to be more successful, more satisfied, and less prone to social anxiety. This holds especially true for women. When she no longer lives to prove something, but to express something, she becomes the kind of presence others want to be near, not because she demands attention, but because she radiates effortlessly. And most important, true self-confidence cannot be borrowed. It only arrives when you truly face yourself. A woman who has lived, loved, failed, and risen from pain does not need to be called beautiful, because she knows what she has overcome to be able to smile today. She doesn't need to prove she's fine, because it is the acceptance of her not-fineness that makes her strong. As Jung wrote in Modern Man in Search of a Soul, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. Awakening never happens in comfort. Every wound, every struggle with the self, is a step toward awareness, and it is this awareness that forms the deep inner strength that no one else can replicate. A concrete example is Eleanor Roosevelt, former First Lady of the United States, once mocked as unattractive, yet one of the most powerful and captivating figures in global politics. She famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one can make you feel small unless you agree." That is the essence of inner confidence, determining your own value. A mature woman does not hand others the mirror to define her. Carl Jung never spoke of attraction on the surface. He went straight to the soul. To Jung, a person becomes real and spiritually grounded only after reconciling with their entire self, both light and shadow. When a woman embraces her imperfection, she simultaneously enters her most radiant phase. She no longer needs to perform, and therefore she shines. When you stand fully in your being, not apologizing for your presence, not justifying your choices, not waiting for permission to live, you become an irreplaceable woman. Not because someone labeled you so, but because you have truly seen yourself. Belief in oneself is not the starting point. It is the result of a journey. And on that journey, no one walks beside you longer than you. Woman named Lan, a middle school literature teacher in a quiet suburb. No one would call her remarkable or visually attractive by conventional standards, but every time she walked into the faculty room, the atmosphere softened. She dressed simply, long skirts, her hair neatly pinned, a gentle smile, and she listened in a way that made the world seem to slow down. She had lived alone for over 10 years after an unfulfilled marriage, no children, no drama. But I never once heard her complain or pity herself. She loved growing flowers, reading in the afternoons by the window. Once I asked her, "Don't you ever feel lonely?" She just smiled and replied, I don't need someone next to me to feel full. I just need to be at peace with myself. That isn't loneliness. That is freedom. Freedom from expectations. Freedom from needing others to be present to validate your worth. Freedom from the belief that you must have someone to feel whole. And it is this peace, something you can't buy or fake, that gives Ms. Lan an aura people can't quite explain. There's something about her that's so magnetic, even though she doesn't try at all. Letting go isn't coldness or indifference. It is a powerful stance. I love you, but I don't need to own you to feel valuable. I connect, but I don't depend. I open up, but I don't lose myself. It's the invisible line between free love and disguised dependence. A woman who has learned this will never ask, "What did I do wrong that he left?" Because she knows a free soul does not hold others through fear, but through dignity. Behavioral psychology research has shown that attraction often increases with uncertainty. A well-known study by Dr. Arthur Aaron found that people are more intrigued by relationships that aren't entirely predictable. Uncertainty activates curiosity and emotional engagement. Similarly, a woman who isn't always available, who doesn't bend herself to be kept, creates a space others want to step into, to explore, to remain in. And you know what the most beautiful part is? When you stop needing to hold on to someone, you also stop fearing the loss of yourself. You become a free woman, even within deep connection. And that is a form of magnetism that cannot be learned, cannot be faked. It only comes when you've walked through the fear of being left behind and chosen to stand steady in love for yourself. Carl Jung didn't talk about love in romantic terms. He cared about inner freedom, the foundation of any true connection. In The Psychology of the Transference, he wrote, "Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, there love is lacking." The non-attached woman doesn't manipulate, doesn't turn love into a negotiation of power. She gives love as an expression of her being, not as a strategy for security. Are you holding on to something? Is there something you're gripping tightly out of fear that letting go means losing everything? Try observing it with a lighter heart. Sometimes, letting go is the only way to truly keep something, and more importantly, to keep yourself. If you've ever lost yourself in a relationship, ever struggled because you feared losing someone else, you are not alone. But trust me, true magnetism begins the moment you stop needing to hold on to anyone and start holding on to yourself. So what have you been through that taught you how to let go? What do you think is the hardest part about releasing attachment and living freely in connection? Share with me in the comments. I'm here to listen. Number 3, expressing identity through lifestyle and authentic image, the true persona. Once a woman stands firmly in her self-belief and has mastered the art of letting go, she steps into a higher stage in the journey of individuation, the expression of her inner being through her outer image. This is no longer about dressing well or speaking charmingly. It becomes a spiritual act where a woman wears her truth. In her, every gesture, every glance, every presence is a reflection of a refined inner world, not flashy, not contrived, but deeply magnetic. This is when the persona becomes a symbol, not a mask. Carl Jung described the persona, the social identity, as a kind of mask designed on the one hand to make a definite impression upon others, and on the other to conceal the true nature of the individual, the relations between the ego and the unconscious, But when a woman has matured through her inner journey, she no longer uses the persona to hide. She uses it to reveal. Her style doesn't come from fashion magazines. It comes from knowing herself. She doesn't follow trends because her taste reflects the spirit she lives by. Have you ever seen a woman walk into a cafe dressed simply, yet all eyes instinctively turn toward her? It's not because she's trying to be noticed. It's because she appears as a seamless integration of substance and form. That kind of style can't be borrowed. It is born from within, not imposed from without. A woman's style is energy made visible. If she is sharp and free, you'll see it in her choice of color, fabric, her posture, and the rhythm of her steps. If she is gentle and grounded, it will show in the softness of her voice and the calm of her eyes. Carl Jung wrote in Man and His Symbols, "The symbols of the self doesn't dress to impress. She dresses to become." Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." When you become your true self, your outward appearance is no longer a disguise. It becomes a subtle reflection of your inner force. You don't need to stand out. You only need to be real. And in that realness, you shine. Have you ever gone through a phase where you felt like you were playing a role in the way you dressed, talked, or expressed yourself? Looking back, what do you think held you back from living in alignment with your style, your essence, your truth? Share that reflection with me. You may be standing at the threshold of awakening your deepest aesthetic sense. Style, born from the soul. Before we move on to the fourth habit, we want to thank you for walking with us halfway through this journey. In every moment, there is room for learning and growth, and your presence here, listening and reflecting with us, is a gift we truly treasure. To help us share these insights with more people, please like and share this video. Every share is a small act with deep meaning, just like the timeless lessons Carl Jung left behind. And don't forget, the fourth habit is waiting for you in the next part. Let's keep discovering together. Once again, thank you for being here. Number 4, radiant feminine energy, the power to receive, the power to be present. When a woman knows who she is and no longer chases after external validation, she doesn't merely show up, she is present. No gimmicks, no noise. She moves through the world like a flower that doesn't try to release its fragrance, and still people stop and notice. This is the moment when feminine energy becomes full, not as a performance of softness or a rehearsed gentleness, but as a force field radiating from within, carrying receptivity, empathy, and a rare kind of calm. This woman doesn't fight for the spotlight, nor does she shrink into the background. She stands where she chooses, steady in her gaze, her breath, and her presence, needing no explanation for simply being there. To understand this more clearly, imagine the two core energies within every human being, masculine and feminine. If masculine energy is direction, control, conquest, then feminine energy is receptivity, sensitivity, integration. A woman grounded in her feminine energy doesn't chase or compete, because she trusts that what aligns with her essence will find its way to her. She is like a quiet garden, not calling anyone in, but making people want to stop and stay. This isn't passivity. It's a kind of soft power more compelling than any learned tactic. Carl Jung emphasized in Symbols of Transformation, the feminine, the anima, is not weak. It is the soul of all life. And indeed, femininity does not mean weakness. It is soft strength, like water, able to gently embrace all shapes, but capable of carving through stone over time. A woman who carries this energy doesn't impose herself to be loved, doesn't chase to be held. She simply lives aligned with her essence, and from that steady, unforced place, she becomes magnetic. I think of a woman who sells flowers near my home. Every day she sits under a tree with simple baskets of blooms, daisies, dahlias, gladiolus. She doesn't call out, doesn't offer discounts, doesn't plead. Yet somehow people prefer to buy from her. Once I asked why she never shouted like the others. She smiled and said, "I let them come when they need. My flowers, the right ones, will choose them." A soft reply, but full of wisdom. She doesn't push, she opens. Doesn't compete, she trusts. Her presence is living proof. True feminine energy doesn't seek, it attracts. Doesn't control, it radiates. And the kind of allure it creates isn't fleeting. It's a quiet bond that makes people want to return. She's the kind of woman men can't explain why they remember. Feel lighter beside. Feel peace with, even in silence. Because she doesn't try to impress. She simply allows herself to be. In today's world, where women are increasingly encouraged to be strong, many mistakenly believe they must be like men to be respected, speak louder, take control, fight for position. But feminine energy doesn't function that way. True femininity doesn't try to dominate situations. It trusts in the power of presence and listening. Think back to the last time you felt safe around a woman, not because she solved your problems, but because her presence made you feel like you didn't need defenses. That's a kind of energy everyone longs for, but only women who have learned to reconnect with their inner anima can project. She doesn't do everything to be chosen, she chooses herself first. And for that reason, others see her as irreplaceable. Let's be clear, femininity is not fragility. It's the ability to feel deeply without being pulled into chaos. It's the ability to love without turning love into a transaction. It's softness so complete it doesn't need walls, because the inner self is already a fortress. If you've ever felt exhausted from having to stay strong, to initiate everything, to control every part of a relationship or job. Maybe you've simply lost touch with this feminine energy. But it never left you. It's only waiting for you to return, to touch it again, and to live in harmony with it. Number 5. Speaking through depth, not just words. When a woman has learned to be present through energy instead of force, she begins to understand that true allure doesn't lie in what is said, but in the silence between the words. She doesn't communicate to grab attention, but to connect through the fullness of her presence. This is when communication ceases to be a conversation and becomes communion. Have you ever been near someone who, without saying much, made you feel calmer? They don't talk a lot, but every word carries weight. They don't rush to fill every gap in conversation, but let space breathe. Let the eyes speak to what hasn't yet been said. This isn't a technique. It's a sign of inner maturity. Carl Jung, in the practice of psychotherapy, once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people." Because this woman has sat with her own inner chaos, she no longer fears silence. She doesn't need to fill every void to mask insecurity. She understands that sometimes what connects us isn't information, but the space where truth can reveal itself on its own. I once witnessed a deeply moving exchange between a friend of mine and a troubled student being criticized by another teacher. There were no harsh words. My friend simply sat beside him, looked at him quietly for a while, and then asked softly, "What's made you sad today?" No lecturing, no moralizing, just a real gaze, a real question, and real presence. The boy sat silent for nearly 5 minutes, then tears fell. Not because my friend was persuasive, but because she knew when to be silent so he could emerge from his own shell. A woman with depth doesn't communicate to perform. She empathizes to awaken the life in the person across from her. She knows a glance can speak more than a paragraph. A well-timed nod can heal more than 1,000 words. A pause in the right place can make the heart stir. This is the language of someone who has faced herself and has learned to listen before she speaks. In Man and His Symbols, Jung wrote, "Often the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain." In this context, it reminds us that intuition, emotion, and subtle signals beyond language often reach the soul faster than reason ever could. A woman emotionally full knows how to look, to pause, to step back, and in doing so, helps others see themselves more clearly, as if she were a mirror that feels. If you've ever sat with someone and felt the urge to share more than you usually would without knowing why, perhaps you were with a woman who speaks more through listening than through volume. Conversely, you may have felt drained sitting next to someone who talked endlessly, not to connect, but to fill space. The difference lies in the stillness within. An attractive woman doesn't need to show off her knowledge or tell great stories. She makes others curious, not because she reveals everything, but because she holds something back, inviting them to explore. She answers just enough, never too much. She asks deeply, never invasively. She speaks slowly, but never superficially. Because she knows allure doesn't come from what you say, but from what you make others feel. In relationships, she doesn't interrogate endlessly. She doesn't react with loud jealousy. She doesn't need to hear, "You're the only one." She feels it in the silence when she meets someone's eyes. And if the other person lacks the depth to stay, she simply smiles and steps back, as if to say, I don't need you to understand me through words. If you can't feel me, then you don't belong here. The art of conversation for a woman of depth doesn't lie in being dazzling. It lies in her relaxed presence, in her ability to create a safe space where truth can speak on its own. Are you filling your conversations with anxiety? Try sitting with someone without rushing to talk, just looking, listening with your whole being. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but gradually you'll find that silence is where real connection begins. Tell me, when was the last time you felt truly heard? Have you ever been silent and still felt more understood than when you spoke? Number 6. Living a rich, independent life not defined by romance. We've explored 5 profound habits that shape the magnetic inner presence of a mature woman. Deep self-belief, the ability to let go without loss, authenticity in style, radiant feminine energy, and emotional resonance over mere communication. But the final habit, the one that underpins all the others, is living a meaningful life of her own, without being defined by relationships. An attractive woman does not make others want to step into her life because she is missing something. She doesn't wait for someone to fill a void. She already inhabits a world full of color, passion, and depth. She doesn't seek love to feel whole, because she was whole before love arrived. Independence here isn't just financial or about time. It's a kind of freedom of the soul. She doesn't live with the mindset, I need to be loved to feel worthy, but walks through life with the spirit of, I am enough, and love, if it comes, will be a harmony. Many fall into the trap of equating self-worth with being in a relationship. They fear that if no one loves them, they will disappear. But an awakened woman doesn't live by that definition. She can love deeply, but she won't trade herself to keep someone. Carl Jung once wrote in Modern Man in Search of a Soul, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And indeed, many people avoid living independently because they fear emptiness, loneliness, or being forgotten. So they attach themselves tightly to relationships as if they were lifelines. But a woman who has walked the path of individuation knows this. No one can save her from herself except herself. And when she accepts all of who she is, both the brilliant and the imperfect parts, love is no longer an escape, but a gift. I have a friend who once loved with fierce intensity, and the heartbreak nearly shattered her. But instead of rushing to find someone new, she spent the next 3 years relearning French, a language she had dreamed of in college, opened a small bakery, and taught cooking classes for orphans on weekends. When her ex happened to see her again, he said something I'll never forget. "You no longer need to be loved, and that's exactly why people want to love you." but someone to walk with. If you've ever felt like you lost your passion, your uniqueness, or yourself in a relationship, maybe now is the time to ask, am I living a life of my own? What inside me have I put on hold just because of love? The answer isn't for blaming yourself. It's to help you reclaim the most beautiful freedom there is, the right to be yourself, with or without anyone else by your side. So, are you ready to rebuild your inner world? A world where, when someone enters, they don't find a woman waiting to be loved, but a woman who loves life so deeply that they want to stay. Before we close, let's reflect on the 6 habits we've explored together. A self-worth that needs no approval, letting go without feeling empty. A personal style that mirrors the soul. Feminine energy that creates calm and presence. Communication that touches the heart, not just the ears. And a life that feels